Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Chris Kautzman. I'm the Manager of Community Partnerships for the American Composers Forum, and I'm super excited to welcome this amazingly huge, growing group of people from across the country to hear about live streaming concerts, to learn some tech, to hear from 2019 City Pages Artist of the Year, Nur-D, who's going to be our host today.
My name is Nur-D, and I will be teaching you a little bit about streaming services today. As you can see, I am very knowledgeable. I have a long white coat and my hair is woolly. Now, some of you might ask yourself, will he be talking like this the entire time? And the answer is, perhaps. Just kidding. Hi, my name is Nur-D. Super nice to have you all here. Thank you. This is cool. I've never done a webinar before. I feel very fortunate to be a part of this. I want to thank Springboard for the Arts. I want to thank everybody who's involved in this. And yeah, I'm just going to get into it because I know we don't have a crazy ton of time. We have a lot to talk about. If my mustache and beautiful eyebrows distract you, I apologize. I know that it is hard to take your eyes away from all this, but I do have information for you, and I'm very excited to share that. So real quick, who am I? Well, like I said, my name is Nur-D, and what do? I do hip hop. I've been doing hip hop music now for about 2 years. I started doing rock and roll here in the Twin Cities. I did that for 8, and then I started doing hip hop. I've been able to do my music all over the world. It's been super crazy. I've been crisscrossed around the country. I opened up for Brother Ali on his Midwest tour, and I've done things such as Soundset. I was at Pride. I was at the Best New Bands for 2020. And as they said before, I was honored with the 2019 spot for Best Artist, or Best New Artist of the Year. It was super cool. And just like everybody else, when the coronavirus hit, a lot of my shows, my in-person shows, were canceled. My first one that really hit me was with the Minnesota United soccer game. When that shut down, I realized very quickly that we're in a position that we had never been in before. Large concerts were going to be out for a little bit, and we needed to figure out something to do. So I thought of, let's do live stream concerts. Just like I'm streaming with you now, a concert, everyone can watch on their devices, in their homes, on their phones, wherever they want to be, and we'll still be able to provide them with some sort of, oh wait, I don't want to look at the chat, or else I'm going to get distracted. We could do services just like this. It was a fun idea. We set it up, and in the first time, we had over 90 watchers, and it only grew from there. The second time was even more. The third time was even more, culminating with a wonderful partnered event with Paisley Park, which was called one of the top 12 live stream concerts of the year so far by Star Tribune, which was super cool. So really, like, why should you listen? Why should you listen to me as opposed to just trying to figure it out on your own? Well, you can. I figured this out on my own. That's cool too. But I would love to be able to share some of the things that I've learned and helping you make your live stream events the best that they possibly could be. So as we go through, you might have some questions. Like they say, put it in the chat. I'm going to make sure I had a timer set on my notes so that I'll be able to get to questions at the end and be able to kind of roll through. So hopefully we're going to have some fun and you'll learn something and you'll enjoy my wonderful GitHub. Anyway, so the first thing I want to talk about is streaming services. Now, if you're going to do a live stream concert, you're going to want to know what platforms you can do that on easily. Before we get into that, I think it's important to talk about why you're doing what you're doing. Live stream concerts are great, but you want to know if that's really the best avenue for you. A lot of artists, I don't know if there's all artists in the chat, or maybe just people who like to watch, or people who just like learning about new things, but you have to ask yourself, should I be doing a live stream concert at all? A lot of these things are concerts that you would normally be able to put on live and in person, but can't because of everything that's going on. If you think that you'd be able to pull in a decent amount of people live, then the live concert might be the best option for you. If you're relatively new and you're starting out and you don't have a huge fan base, a live stream concert could end up being really demoralizing because it's really hard to keep people's attention on the internet. I don't know if you've been on the internet before, but it is populated with a lot of really cool stuff. I've seen cats do everything from martial arts to skateboarding, and it's really hard to pull your eyes away from something like that. You are competing not only with other artists doing live stream concerts, but also all of Netflix and Hulu and all of the things that you could possibly do. So you want to ask yourself, is a concert really the best thing I can do? Or should I make a video and then release it at a time that's good and put some press behind it? That's something you need to ask yourself. If the answer is, yeah, I want to do a live stream concert, I want to do a performance live, but just on a device, that's cool. We're going to get into some streaming services that are going to help you do that. So first thing first is Instagram. Everyone has Instagram. Most people have Instagram. It's what I would consider the easiest way to do a live stream concert without a whole lot of setup. If you have a phone that records video in a decent way, you'll be in a spot that's well enough to do a live stream concert. I would suggest when you're doing Instagram, you know a little bit about how Instagram works, because it's usually for a live stream, it's about an hour's length. If your concert is going to be an hour or more long, Instagram is going to be tough because you might have to lose people and bring them back when you come back on for your second half. And it can be a little iffy. But Instagram is great. It's all built in. You can see who's on. It doesn't allow people to see other things that are happening while you're on your Instagram. So it's easy to do to keep people's attention once you got it. I would suggest having a partner when you do Instagram. Like my wonderful partner back here, DJ Hayes. When we did our first couple of live stream concerts, we had somebody holding the camera like this, and we were in front of it, so we didn't have to worry about what was going on in the chat, what was happening. People could call people out. It was super easy. As far as audio is concerned, however, you're going to need an OBS system in order to run your audio outside of anything other than just your phone. DJ Hayes, you were saying the OBS system you would have to run through a laptop, correct?
Yeah, you need a laptop to use the software. It's free. It's the standard software that people use to stream on Twitch. Mm. So you can download it free through there.
Yes.
But you can use it with any streaming platform.
You can use it with any streaming platform. So it is something that you can do. It just requires a little bit more setup. If you don't have a laptop or a laptop that can run the OBS system, you can still use Instagram for live streaming right on your phone. Super easy like that. And I'm sorry if this is a lot of like basic information. I didn't know who was going to be here today, so we're going to keep going through. YouTube is another wonderful way to do a live streaming concert. You can stream it live just on your YouTube channel. It's great. The two things I would say, this is my second favorite one. The two things I would say, length doesn't matter. You can go as long as you want on YouTube. The one thing is YouTube has a lot of distractions. Even if people were watching it, like the whole point of YouTube is designed for you to click on the next video, click on the next video, click on the next video. So retention could end up being something that you might have a problem with. So I would be careful with that. The second thing is that YouTube tracks music. So let's say you're a hip hop artist, and let's say you rap over industry beats. Or let's say you're a well-known artist and you have some music on iTunes and iTunes or Spotify or Google Play or Deezer or whatever. You might actually end up getting your video flagged for using music that is yours. Because YouTube is checking to make sure people don't use other people's music on events. So that's something you might have to work on. It's when you're a local artist, such as myself, or in that same vein of things, no one's really being able to say like, oh, that's Rihanna's song. That's actually Rihanna singing, leave her alone. They're just going to flag it because it sounds similar. So it's something you might run into. It's a similar problem with Facebook. Streaming on Facebook is great. It's super easy to do. You can go live from a page or from your personal page. Either one works. You'll still have a little bit of a problem with retention because people tend to click away from Facebook stuff. However, again, Facebook is even more strict than YouTube about flagging music that doesn't belong to people. So just be aware that your video might be shut down should you be using a song that's either on iTunes or a song that might already have somebody else's name attached to it. The last three that I'm going to talk about for streaming services are Twitter, Twitch, and Vimeo Live. Twitter is fine. I've never used it personally for a live stream concert. I know people have done that. I don't know if it's the best platform for it. It just doesn't seem to have a lot of the things that I'd like on it. So I would suggest maybe stepping away from Twitter, but you can't do it. Twitch is fantastic for streaming. It really is. Mostly it's used for gaming streaming, so people who stream video games on their channels. There are other avenues for it. The one thing I would say about Twitch, even though it has a built-in streaming service, the whole concept is keeping people on the stream, be able to contact them, and it's super intuitive. It is a brand new system for a lot of people. Most people aren't on Twitch. So if you're holding a music concert for people who might not already be on Twitch, you're going to be asking a lot of them to learn a whole new system, perhaps create a whole nother account just to watch you on there. So it's just something to think about as far as getting people to actually do and watch your show. Vimeo Live is the last one that I would suggest. Its processing is way better. A lot of music videos are used on that. Being able to run a system, audio system, through Vimeo Live to make music live concert would be great, except for no one really uses Vimeo. So again, you'd be in a situation where people would be like, what? What is this? Why is this? And it might be a little tough for you to maintain viewership. So just something to think about. These are some places that you can go to do your live stream concerts and do them well. The next thing I want to talk about is setup for an actual concert. The first and foremost thing is that, and this might be a little tough to hear, but setups cost money. Doing a live stream concert is going to cost you a little bit of money a couple times to get the things that you're going to want to need, especially if you're going to want to do it, if you want to make it look nice and sound nice, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money in order to make that happen. If you want to do something quick and cheap and easy, Instagram on your phone, you can do that as long as you have a cell phone. I'm assuming that most people who are watching this right now at least have a laptop, so it increases your range of what you're able to do with your laptop. But the first thing you're going to want to do after you have a laptop is you're going to want to get a microphone. This is my pretty, admittedly crappy, blue snowball microphone. Just like that. Boop, boop, boop. It plugs in right through USB, right into your computer screen, right into your computer. That mic, that blue snowball microphone, I recorded my whole track in my room EP on that microphone, as well as insert catchphrase here on that microphone. It is going to be demonstratively better than the microphone that you have on your laptop. A lot of people do streaming concerts and they just use the mic that's right on their laptop. It doesn't have the range to catch all of your music. It's just not built that way. It was built to have a conversation like this, like me and you, me being this close to the screen and talking to you, not with music, not with instruments. It wasn't designed to pick that stuff up. So it's going to peak out really bad. You're going to have a lot of fuzz. You're going to miss a lot of the tone. It's not worth it to make a live stream concert that way, because a lot of times your first live stream concert is your first impression to people to watch a second live stream concert from you. So you're going to want to make sure you set a good impression. Here is just a Shure microphone. These are like $80 new. This is even better than the microphone you would be using just off your laptop. Buying a microphone for your live stream is very, very important, because it's going to set you apart from the rest of your peers when you're making music. Also, you could have a mixing board. I can't show you the mixing board without moving my whole laptop setup. However, a mixing board, even a small one, is going to help you be able to control the levels of your audio, because it's super important to have audio that's crisp and clear, or at the very least, audio that people won't just be struggling to hear you with. I think that's super important, and a mixing board costs a little bit of money. If you're going to try and save up to do that, that's fine. I know money's tight for a lot of people, but it is an investment in future live streaming opportunities, and it's something that you might want to do. The next thing I want to talk about also is lighting. As you may be able to see from my beautiful skin, I have been blessed with melanin. Now, that requires a lot of light in order to be seen clearly throughout the entire time. One of the things, we have plenty of lights up here in this room, but even in this room right now, it's still a little dark. you're going to want to make sure you control the lights around your stream to make it seem better for you. We have a ring light currently that is on my laptop, as well as a flashlight, 2 industrial flashlights, both shining up at the sky and shining in front of the computer in order to give me a little bit more light. A quick and easy fix if you're doing something directly on your phone or you're doing something where you could be closer to it. This is a ring light. This is $4 at Target. Just buying something as close to this to be able to increase the light on your face would be immensely helpful for you so people can see you while you're doing your performances. It has 3 settings, super easy to do, super easy to buy. It clips right over your phone if you're trying to do a selfie version, or you can still put it around this way and you'll have a little bit of light on whatever subject you are checking out. Lights are super important because visually you want your concert to be interesting. You want people to be able to, who are scrolling by or who are willing to share it, to capture people's attention. And if it's dark and you can't see what's going on, that is going to be a little bit of a problem. Next thing is decoration. Decoration. This is a pretty standard decoration. We have a sign, we have some video games, we have some lights. It's not fancy, but you want to show that you've put a little effort into your live stream concept. There's a lot of fun about just being in someone's apartment building, just in someone's room, and having them play music and stuff. That's fine, and you can do that. But if you're trying to put on a full-fledged concert, you have to remember where we came from. We had lights, we had stage, we had roving LEDs shooting direct images of waves crashing into our brains. We're competing with that, and we want to be able to at least give people an idea that this is an event that they're going to want to experience. That doesn't change just because you're doing it from your living room. So taking a little bit of time to do something, even if it's just a little sign, even if it's just putting some stuff up in the background, making it visually interesting for yourself, maybe putting on a beautiful disguise, it will be something to allow them to enjoy the experience more than just listening to songs they might have already heard before. Last for setup is promotion. You need to be promoting your live streams. I see so many artists, young artists, just going live. They just go live, or they say, oh, I'm going live, and then they wonder why no one's watching or no one's looking. You need to treat a live concert as if it was a concert you were setting up for people. Tell them about it weeks in advance. Let people know that you're going to do it. Tell people, make a little poster for it. Do all the things that you would do for a normal concert. That way people are going to set time aside of their day or their night and listen to you. It's just like a television program that's coming out. They do heaps and heaps of promotion just for people to sit in front of the screen and watch it. And now you're gonna have to do the same thing. If you've ever seen a commercial for The Bachelor, you know what I'm talking about. And your music, your concert should be no different. It is now a multimedia event, and you have to be sure that you're using multiple forms of media in order to promote it. So when we talk about the promotion itself, or we're talking about the performance itself, there's a couple of things that I see a lot of times for other artists that are doing these live stream concerts that could use a little bit of help. And that's where my last little bits of expertise come in. So personal appearance is a big point. A lot of people who are doing live stream concerts are just wearing whatever they had on and just kind of, we're all kind of a little bit more grubby than we would like to be with being stuck at home. But making sure you take the time to look nice. Put on a concert outfit. Take the time to have yourself be interesting. Because, again, we're now entering into a visual medium. Your audio quality is what's going to keep people on your stream. But your visual quality is what's going to get people to listen to you in the first place. You want people to be able to scroll by and be like, oh, what is that? That looks interesting, and click on it. And then they'll be able to hear the music you're making and hear all the stuff you're doing, and it's going to be like, it's going to capture them. But looking like you're something to be watched, something interesting, something different that they haven't seen before is a big part of that. I don't want anyone to think that it's all like, oh, it's all about what you look like, whatever. But it is really important that you have a certain sense of presentation about yourself. Second, make sure you have a clean space. Make sure your space doesn't have like Taco Bell wrappers all up to the sky. You're not just like, piles of dirty laundry or whatever, or if you're in another space, make sure you set the space up to look professional, because again, this is a concert. People could go on YouTube and watch a concert by somebody else right now, and it would look like a professional concert. You want to make your space look at the very least like a place they would like to sit down and enjoy. Let me think a couple more things here. Also, engage with the audience. Now, currently, I'm not doing a whole lot of that because I have like a bunch of stuff to get through, but this is kind of just like a lecture, which is why I'm using my fake pipe. I'm using my lecture voice like this, but you want to engage with the audience. You want to be able to take full advantage of this medium, which is right now, even as we talk, I see people right down here on my chat that are asking questions. If you're doing a show or a concert or a live stream concert, you're able to see what people are saying in semi-real time. I know there's usually a bit of lag on everything, but in semi-real time, you're able to see questions that they're asking, comments that they're making, and in just general, the whole vibe of the space you're in. You're going to want to engage with that audience. That's what separates a live stream concert from a video of a concert that's already happened. The ability to interact with the audience like you would if you were at a concert show. Instagram is a great way to do this, like I was saying before. Instagram doesn't pay me to say any of this, mind you, but Instagram is a great way to do it because all of that is right on your phone. Boop, boop. You can read it. If you're doing a selfie video, you're able to see it as you're recording, or if someone is filming you, they're able to see it as it goes down, and you have the opportunity to interact with the people who are watching you. And that's important because it keeps them engaged. It keeps them from clicking away to something else. To be able to talk to them and engage with their questions or their comments, it allows them to want to make more questions and comments. And they get excited when they're being mentioned. I know when I'm watching a live stream concert and I say something and I hear someone say, oh, hey, like that guy, I also like that. I'm like, oh, snap, they're listening to me. It's real. You can get closer to your audience in a live stream concert than often you could do on a concert outside of that. Am I
Yeah, people are way more invested in something they feel involved in.
That is very true. So the more you can help your audience feel involved in your performance, the more it's going to help you in your concerts in general. Also, content. This is a big thing. And I'm gonna go back to the point I made when we started this conversation, or when I started this lecture. You gotta wanna make sure you know why you're doing what you're doing and what you're bringing to the table, and if that is a live stream concert. Right now, content is king. Consistency is king, content is queen. You want to make sure that the music or art or whatever you're bringing to the stage is something that people are going to want to listen to. If you have a fan base right now and you know that you have a fan base and they're a pretty loyal fan base, it might not be so hard to do. Hey, I'm putting on a concert. I know that you enjoy my concerts when I'm in person. You'll enjoy this concert when you're on your phone. It'll be just as fun. But you want to give them something worth listening to, something interesting, something different. Play your songs maybe a little bit differently than you would every other time you do it. Maybe add a little bit of information about what the song means to you, or how it is changed over the course of having to do this stay-at-home order stuff. Taking the time to make that content interesting, impactful, and important is going to be very helpful for you as you continue on making music. Lastly, about the content thing, I would stress, if you don't think that you could do a concert live with people in the room, maybe try and do videos and put them out weekly as opposed to trying to do a live concert. Not that you can't, just that you don't want to feel demoralized if nobody's checking in, if nobody's watching, and stuff like that. It does feel a little weird. Like, for example, I started a Twitch channel not too long ago where I play video games with my roommate, and we laugh and we joke and stuff like that. And I think on average, we have 5 people who watch us. I have thousands of people on all of my things, and we probably have like 5 people who watch us. We're not doing a whole lot. It's just for fun. If it's just for fun, that's fine. Super cool. Do that. But if you're looking to create a monetary gain, you want to make sure you're doing what's the best thing for you. And speaking of monetary gain, because we got my last point, monetization. I know that's what a lot of people have been wondering about, because that's one of the things that I've been known most for this particular industry. So to give you an example, our live stream concerts have raised over $4,000 for Minnesota artists throughout the state here. It has been amazing. And a lot of live concerts don't make that kind of money. And so it's a very interesting thing. Like, how can you continue to do that? So there is an old world model and a passive income model that I can talk to you about. And I'm going to talk to you about both so that you might be able to see which is going to be best for you. But some only work on some devices and so on and so forth. So the old world model. Now, in the time before we entered Mad Max world, what people would do is they would see a show that they like. They'd buy a ticket either at the box office or online beforehand, and then that would give them entrance into the concert, which they would enjoy the content. You can still do shows that way. It's just on a different platform. Right now, we're all using Zoom, I believe, I deduce. We're all using Zoom right now. And in a lot of ways, Zooms require a meeting ID and a password. If you have an email list to a fan group or fan page, or you have any type of way to engage your fans about a concert that's coming up, you can set up a concert saying, I'm gonna have a live stream concert on Zoom, here on Zoom. And if you would like to see it, you can pay me either through your PayPal, through Venmo or Cash App, or whatever you're gonna use. And we'll talk more about those in a second. And I will give you the streaming code and the password to join the Zoom and to watch the concert. That is an easy old world way of old world model of monetizing your stream. It's just like a concert. It's just like any other thing. Zoom is fine. You only got 40 minutes unless you pay for it. So you want to make sure your content is able for having check-in, performing, and saying goodbye to everybody all in that time frame, so you don't get kicked off. But it's a way to be able to get money just like you would when you did a concert before. But I know for a lot of people, that's not what the case is. It's not the case for me, so I go with a passive income model. So what I use for my passive income model is what is called Venmo. I know most of you know what Venmo is. I know a lot of people have it. A lot of people have PayPal. A lot of people have things of that nature. So when we were raising money through our live stream concerts, we used Venmo. We told people, hey, make sure you use check over to Venmo, send us a little something, whatever you can do helps. And we were able to raise money that way. Having a Venmo for your artist account, or just for yourself if it's just yourself, is almost imperative. You can have a PayPal, PayPal's fine. You can have a Cash App is fine. But in my opinion, in my experience, Venmo has been the easiest and most without problem transition for me to do. It has a better reputation than Cash App, even though there's nothing wrong with Cash App. People just seem more likely to be able to give to a Venmo because for whatever reason, it has become synonymous with a more professional attitude than Cash App is. So that's something to do. PayPal is the same way. It's owned by the same company, mind you, but PayPal requires you to have to log off, go to PayPal, put this email address in, put whatever money you want. It's just a little bit more steps, and you want to be able to eliminate as many steps as possible, which leads me to saying about embedding a monetization inside your videos. Both, it's Facebook, and what was the other one that does it?
I think Facebook might be the only one that does it.
Facebook allows you to attach your Venmo account to your live stream. As long as you have your phone number, that's the same thing. You go into your Facebook settings, you can attach your Venmo to your live stream so that people don't have to exit out of your Venmo, of your live stream in order to donate money from the comments of your live stream. It's one of the reasons I love Facebook Live for streaming videos. Again, you could get taken down for making music, for playing your own music, but if you can hold off for a little bit, that is an easy way for people to donate money directly to you or to whatever cause you're raising money for without having to leave the stream to do it. Because every time you ask someone to wade into the internet to do something for you, there's a chance you'll lose them forever because the internet is a wild, wild west of content. And the longer you can keep them within your grasp, the less likely they are to click away and never return. So monetizing that way. Another way to monetize, which I think is super helpful, if you're an artist with a back catalog, let's say you have an album that you haven't released, or you have a lot of photos that you haven't posted, or you have just a lot of content that you haven't given out to other people, one of the best ways to receive passive income is for setting up some sort of a fan subscription service. The best one that I know of is called Patreon. Having a Patreon for yourself, it doesn't mean you have to be a super fancy so-and-so. It's not like Kickstarter or Group Me or whatever the thing is. It allows people to subscribe to you like they would Netflix or Hulu for extra content, usually as low as whatever you want to put. On my Patreon, for example, for $2 a month, people can get behind the scenes footage, get information before other people, and it happens on a continuous basis. If you plug your Patreon as your main source for people, again, people are gonna have to sign out of your stream to do it, but once they do, they would be able to constantly give, you can give them updates, you're going to be able to give, they're gonna be able to give you monetary compensation, and you can do tiers. So if you have a lot of backlogged content, and you don't have a lot of like venues in which to share it at, or opportunities to do it live, or let's say you have a lot of merch that you got to get rid of, there is a way to be able to get people on board with you financially, monetizing your concerts that way. Those are the old world model of selling basically tickets to your live stream, or creating places where people can donate money or send money for the live stream. Both of those ways work. The way that I've seen it work most effectively is to simply remind people that this content is worth paying for. And if you enjoyed what you've seen or heard, to just go to this place and donate or to give money. And if you have a basic donation, you can put it right there in the description of your thing and people will not forget it. It is, we live in an unprecedented time for something like that. Monetization of a live stream is not always easy. Even with Paisley Park, it was a little bit of like, okay, how are we gonna make sure we get people to the right situation? Which then leads me right back to your decorations. If you put in where you want people to go on a sign or on a shirt or on something that they can see visually, regardless of when they come into your conversation, you'll be able to see what they'll be able to see what your primary mode of financial compensation is, and it's going to help you a lot in the long run. The last thing I want to talk about, I think, before I jump over to a little bit of Q&A, because I know we have a lot of questions. It's funny because when I put my phone in my pocket, it doesn't recognize me because of my brilliant disguise. Anyway, it's maintaining followers after a live stream. I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I think it's important to talk about. So when you do a live stream concert, you're going to have people that may not follow you joining in on this concert or joining in on the whatever installation you're doing. It's important to make sure that you constantly have, either in your name description, as you can see my handle in my name description, an easy way for people to find you throughout your entire performance, whether it's in your name description, whether it's in the decorations in the background, and following up with those people as you go along. Live stream concert is a great way for the fans that you have to introduce you to other friends and family of theirs. So you want to make sure that you're accessible as quickly as you can. If you have a partner to help you in what you're doing, having them post in the comments regularly. I usually say if you're doing an hour concert, every 15 minutes, posting, hey, come check out Nur-D at blank. Come be Nur-D at blank. That sort of thing is helpful because anytime someone comes in, they'll be able to see the links to all of your information that way and be able to find you if they want to find you after that. Emailing lists are great. It's a quick way to do that. If you have a website, you can create a place where people can get email lists. Patreon's another really great way to do that because as they subscribe to you, you'll be able to get in contact them and send them to all the places that you want to send them to, and they'll be able to help you grow your brand, as it were. Live concerts are a great way to grow brand, and I don't want people to feel discouraged if there's not a lot of people on at the same time. Just give people an opportunity to find you afterwards. Like me, all of the places you can find me at are at Nur-D Rocks on everything. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, and it's nurdyrocks.com for my website. It's really simple, really easy to find. And if you put it in, like right now, I don't know where I'm pointing on your computer. I might be pointing at nothing. But on my computer, I'm pointing at a little version of me who's also pointing at nothing. But up top there, it says Nur-D at Nur-D Rocks. So people can find you the whole time, and that's how you build your brand off of a live concert. The promotion, like I said before, is also a good way to do that and getting people to continuously come back. And at the end, leaving them at the end of your concert with something else you're planning to do. Never let your concert be the finale of what you're doing. It should always be, this was a great concert, and make sure you check back on my Facebook, check back on my Instagram, check back on my Twitter, because we're going to be doing something special from everyone who was here there. You want to make a chain of events for all of your things. So if you're done here, you say, oh, and make sure you tune in at this time here, because it's something that only the people here are going to be able to either understand or experience. So like for me right now, let's say, this has been a wonderful time. We've talked, we had a great time. DJ Hayes has been handsome in the background. I've worn this lab coat that makes me seem much more smart. Nope, I lost it. Much more intelligent than I really am. And if you want to tune in to hear more and hear some more music from me, well, then all you have to do is tune into the current this Saturday, where we're going to be performing our songs just like we would, and using all the things that I told you we're using for the current live and local series. It's going to be a lot of fun. What you want to do when you're making a video or a live stream concert is you want to chain your video that you're doing now to an event you're having in the future, so that it continues to grow, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again. You'd never want your live concert just to be like, all right, and then bye, good night, everybody.
Which kind of doubles back to like the quality you're going for. So if you are able to obtain the equipment you need, or you already have the equipment you need to use a third-party streaming software like OBS,
yes,
there's a section, like a studio section on that, where you can place text on the screen of your stream. So you can have your social media tag, you can have a link, so that it's always there, and you can keep bringing it up, but people see it the whole time.
Facebook Live allows you to do that as well, with your comments, with your sticker and stuff. Or if you have a regular camera with a capture card, it allows you to do that as well, and it's super great. Again, those things cost money, and if you're trying to do it on the cheap, then the best thing to do is just to make sure you have it on your handle, make sure you have it on the title of your video, and then make sure you're constantly posting it on the in the comments of whatever chat version that you're doing things off of. So with that being said, I don't want to take up all the time, because I do want to answer some specific questions. I saw some technical spec questions just off the corner of my eye. I don't want to miss out on those or anything particular that people have questions for. So we have now entered into the Q&A portion of this exercise. I know I was going to have either Chris or Andy help me with that.
Nur-D, this is the voice of Andy Sturdivant, the disembodied ghostly voice.
I love it.
Thanks. And there are some questions that have kind of come over via email and on the chat too. So, so with the streaming services, have you had any luck kind of streaming on multiple platforms at the same time, like, YouTube and Facebook, or how has that experience been for you?
We did that at one time, and that was with when we did Facebook Live and YouTube, I believe. And I would suggest not doing that. And the reason why I would suggest not doing that is, A, there's more things that can go wrong. There's just more things. You have to watch two screens and two streams the entire time, both of which don't have the same algorithm for taking stuff down. So let's say you're playing a song on YouTube, and let's say YouTube doesn't flag it, but Facebook does, and you're watching YouTube at the time, your Facebook stream might go down, and you might not even know because you're focused on your YouTube. I suggest, for ease of promotion, that you keep it on one site and one place.
Because when we did that, we were in a studio, which there was equipment there that for us to use that had way higher processing power than the normal laptop or phone. If you try to do that with like the average laptop or phone, it's not going to turn out well at all.
Yeah, I would suggest putting your eggs in one basket and streaming on one site specifically, and focusing your entire energies on that as opposed to doing multiple at the same time. It's just, it's just going to cause more headache for you.
Great. The majority of people here are musicians, I think, but there are some folks from performing arts organizations and venues as well. So, maybe your Paisley Park experience would be a good one, but,
Yes.
in terms of like partnering with a venue or in terms of partnering with, a performing arts organization as an individual artist, do you have any, insights into how that can work? Or
Yes, I could talk a little bit about that. So first thing you want to do is make sure you have a quality product. Just like any other version of being attached to a music entity, you want to make sure you have a quality product. So all the things that I was talking to you about before, about making sure it looked nice, making sure it looked different, making sure you looked nice and different, that's all very important in order to try and get connected with a group and organization to do more stuff. Promotion is also key. Making sure you're going out there and letting people know more in advance what you're doing, because it seems legitimate. Just somebody in their living room playing the guitar, you could be super, super great, but if the organization that doesn't believe that they're also going to get a boost from you being on their platform, they're going to pick someone else. And then the next thing I would say, as far as once you have all that, you feel confident in what you're bringing, the best way to go about it, I mean, for me in Paisley Park, it was as easy as we were doing our shows, we were promoting it like we would promote a world tour, and after we had 2 successful shows under our belt, Paisley Park reached out to us. We were like, oh, that's cool. But with shows, with things like The Current, with things like finding a venue, let's say you don't want to do it at your apartment, let's say you want to have it at a studio space and you want to use it for your live stream, you're going to want to put together a proposal. You want to write it down. You want to explain what you're doing, what you're going to need, what the benefit is for doing it, and what the essential return would be on doing that. Get your numbers together. I have this many followers here. I have this many followers here. The last time I did a live stream concert or a live thing, this is how many viewers I got. This is how many viewers I expect to get. And this is why I think we would make a great partnership. Once you do that, not only are you showing an initiative, but a lot of these organizations are just looking for something to do right now. So if you can provide them with something that even seems reasonable, chances are you'll have a better chance of being able to partner with a bigger entity than you would on your own.
That's the part that's not so different now between before. It's the same as if you want to get booked at a venue, there has to be something that you do that sets you apart from everybody else that does the same thing you do.
Yes.
And for us, it was, we went out of our way to do, the sound quality was our big thing.
That's what we focused on. And that's what I think other people should focus on as well. But the best way to do it, and make sure you have it recorded so that you can show them a sample of what you're doing and so they can know what they're getting into.
Great, thank you. And then one more question sort of related to that. This one came in the comments. In terms of doing the marketing for what you described as the passive income model, a lot of that's dependent on how many viewers are there, and then they have to take some action. When you're doing the marketing and that initial outreach, what information are you including that gives people an opportunity to pay? Is it the kind of thing where, you let them know that they'll receive a code when they sign up, or do you just point them straight to like a Venmo or a PayPal link?
I always point them straight to a Venmo or a PayPal link. I think it's the easiest way to get people to give you money, even if they don't going to listen to the concert. You want to make sure that that Venmo link is out there as many times as it can, so that people can see it. So even if they're passing by and they see, so-and-so is doing a concert on this day, I'm not going to be able to watch it, but hey, look, they have a Venmo, they have a PayPal. Chances of them being able just to give you money is higher if you just show it right there on your promotional material. Just like when you're making a concert event or a concert before time, they would put the price of the concert right on the poster. This is how much it would cost. Put your Venmo in that same spot. Put your PayPal in that same spot. Cash App, again, in that same spot. You're able to show them that this is something that is worth monetary compensation. You don't want to be afraid to tell people that, hey, you could give me money. Even suggested donation $5 Venmo is just like buying a ticket. People don't have to do it, but they will do it if they know how to get there. You want to provide all the opportunities you possibly can to get them to where you need to go. If you are going to do the old model where you're selling like stream codes, or you're selling like a screen, or you're going to go live secretly on a dummy account. Oh, which we didn't talk about, which really quick, I want to say, make sure you have an account that nobody knows about that you can use to test your live stream before you go live.
Every time.
Every time. Every single time.
We did it today.
We did it today. Just make a fake account with a fake information, and you send the live stream to that account and you watch it. You go into another room and have one person talk and then you talk, and you can hear and listen and make adjustments. You don't want to forget to do that. It's super important for any concert, anything you're going to do on live stream. You want to have as little problems as possible. Sometimes you still might have problems, and that's okay, but just to help you get out there. But outside of that, you want to be able to give them the opportunity to pay you whenever you can.
And if you're going to put like a ticket price, I would say think about what you would charge if they were coming to see in person, and go less.
And go less
because you want to go for quantity over how much each person donates. Because I mean, we raised over $4,000, and most of our donations were no larger than $10.
Yeah, $10, $5. We had a couple people give 100, but that was rare. And so like the idea is that you just want people to be able to get there. You're casting a wide net, so you want it as far reaching as you possibly can.
Do any of the streaming services provide higher quality audio than others, in terms of compression, frequency range, things like that? Understanding that has a lot to do with inputs and outputs, but I guess in your experiences, have you noticed any quality differences between some of the services you mentioned?
Honestly, I will say real quick, I know because Ryan's got a lot of, DJ Hayes has a lot of information on that, but this is what I'd say in my personal opinion. It's a lot to do with inputs and outputs, how much you're doing and what you're trying to do. You're going to get a lot of lag in a lot of places, a little latency in Facebook Live if you try to do too much at the same time, because it's not designed for a full production studio setup. It might even pitch you. Your pitch comes in weird. We had that problem.
So it really has less to do with the service. It really has nothing to do with the service, to be honest. Most streaming services, basically anything on the internet audio-wise compresses at the same rate. It really has to do with the equipment you're using, the laptop.
And what you can do on your laptop.
Yeah, because your laptop kind of fakes itself as an AD converter, which is analog to digital. So the sound waves into your mic converted into binary, and your laptop is like the simplest way I could put that. Some laptops are worse at that than others. Like for instance, if we were filming this on my laptop versus Matt's laptop, there would be a sound difference because mine is more equipped for studio work. So really it has everything to do with the equipment you're using.
Correct.
The streaming service isn't really going to change.
I will say that Twitch is a lot more user friendly.
You can tweak more.
You can tweak more on Twitch. Again, for musicians, you'd be asking people to go to a whole new site and learn a whole new system, but it gives you a little bit more options as far as how to tweak your audio. I also say Vimeo Live as well is their interface is easier, and you can do a little bit more equipment. Again, you have that same situation of teaching people a new place to go, and that might be harder in order to capture as many viewers as you can. But other than that, it's going to have a lot more to do with your equipment than it's going to have to do with what streaming service you use on in general.
Great. And there's a question here too about the best way to use an audio interface while using your laptop on Instagram.
Ooh, that is the OBS system. You want to hit them with some of the...
So the OBS software, again, is the free software that comes when you get Twitch, or you can even just... If you just Google it, you can go download it. It's free.
Free download.
So basically anything, we're using a Mackie 8-channel mixer that I have. Any interface that USBs into your computer, even if it's just a mic that direct USBs, when you use that third-party software, you can select that as your input. You don't even always have to do that. So we're running through it right now in Zoom because it's a recognized driver on the laptop.
Correct.
We have it as our input on Zoom.
You can do the same thing by Snowball Mic, which we've done
for social
before.
Media. You could do that on Facebook. Allows you to tweak. YouTube allows you to tweak like that. If you're going to do Instagram or Periscope on Twitter, you're going to have to do it through third-party software because you're going to have to use a stream key rather than going.
So you're going to download the OBS system, which you can get for free. It's going to ask you to fill out all of your information for your Instagram. When you click go, it is going to come up streaming on your Instagram Live through your laptop computer and all of the music that you're playing off of your laptop, or all of the system you're mixing or whatever. It's going to come through like it's coming through Instagram Live. You're able to do it. It's just a little bit more of a setup, and you will need a laptop that can run the OBS system. So
it's going to take some time to figure out. You're going to want to do a lot of testing with that.
Yes. So you're going to want to fiddle with it to make it sound the way you want it to. It's possible. And though I would say that if you're going to do that, there are other streaming services outside of Instagram that you should probably just use. You'll skip a whole lot of stuff.
I would do Facebook Live is the easiest way to learn that. And then once you get the grip of that, try Instagram. But Facebook Live is the easiest way to learn.
I feel like you'll get more returns that way. But if all of your fans are on Instagram and that's the best way to go, then just take the time. Right. And if you have any questions for me particularly, make sure you hit me up on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. My handle's right there in the name, @Nur-D Rocks, N-U-R-D. Rocks like multiple Dwayne Johnsons. I'd be more than happy to talk to you.
Fantastic. Everybody, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Check out our archive for more information on setting up recording studios, setting up podcasts, using your phone as a microphone. We got all kinds of helpful information. Nur-D, you've been amazing. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you both. Have a great day, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, says Professor Nur-D.